So the other day, the end fight happened on this SMP, and it was like 4 AM my time, so I was sleeping, and my teammates, well, they all died. But while looking through some of the footage, I noticed something. Bro, that is not strength 2. What? And after some testing, creep me out. Yeah, there was no way that's strength 2. The owner seemed to be using strength 3, an effect unobtainable in survival, meaning he was cheating. He was practically ruining his own server. My solution? Ruin it before him. And so, a plan was made. A plan to end the entire server. Let me introduce you to Operation Doomsday. We were going to find every single base on the server, and then on Doomsday spawn withers at all of them, leaving no place to hide, and wreaking havoc across the entire server. But finding every base on the server wouldn't be easy. I was going to have to use methods never seen before, starting with the oldest trick in the book, nether travel. With the nether being 8 times smaller than the overworld, theoretically each base there would be 8 times closer. And with that, I began scouring the entire dimension for potential base portals. Now this was already taking ages. Oh my god, bro, this is taking so long. But little did I know, the hardest part was yet to come. Do you enjoy running thousands of blocks on a flat grey surface with no guarantee of actually finding anything remotely useful? If so, base hunting is what you're looking for. Other than having mental breakdowns over pixels, I was actually making some really good progress. There is a huge ass. Oh my. Bro, I think this is my teammate's base, bro. What the hell is that? We found a thing. My strategy was to go through the roof in a square pattern, allowing me to cover everything in my render distance. Sometimes the bases I found were already griefed. Sometimes they weren't bases at all. Bro, what is going on here? But sometimes... No way, bro. Oh shit, there's a beacon. Oh my god. Oh my... I am more scared than ever that someone will log on. Bro. Oh my... No, if someone logs on, I'm so incredibly dead. Okay, there's a bunch of villagers. Oh yeah. Now with this base found, I was done with the nether, and so I continued my search in the overworld. But since it's 8 times larger than the nether, I was going to need some special strategies. And luckily, I knew just the thing, the pie chart. One of, if not the most powerful technique in all of Minecraft. Now this essentially allows you to see if there are certain blocks, such as E-chests, in your render distance. Now, I'm no expert, but an ender chest usually marks the location of a base. And with all of that in mind, I continued the grind. And as the days went on, I grew more and more impatient. Was it really worth doing all this just for revenge on the owner? But honestly, the overworld was even more boring than the nether. Sure, it isn't completely flat like the nether roof, but due to it being 8 times larger, this was taking far longer. I found a couple bases here and there, but ultimately, this felt like a waste of time. Regardless, my only option was to continue. I couldn't stop until every single base on the server was compromised. Oh yeah, there is definitely a base.
Yeah, holy sh! Probably a villager place.
Oh, look in here!
Holy.
Oh shit! Yo! Bro, it's like 1 AM right now and I'm so done with this. As much as I wanted to do something else, I knew I had to continue. I was gonna get revenge on the owner no matter what. But however much I tried cheering myself up, I was slowly losing hope. It just all seemed pointless. At this rate, I was never gonna find every base. And while pie chart was overpowered, it didn't come without weaknesses. You see, if my enemies knew about this, they could easily just remove a couple blocks from their base, rendering this method useless. And the worst part was, I'd never know if they did this. I needed something new and fast. With no guarantee of ever completing this seemingly impossible task, I felt demotivated. Knowing time was running out, I logged on a single player world to experiment with different mechanics. I'm not kidding when I say I spent 3 hours brainstorming for anything I could use to my advantage. And after all that, I figured something out. You see, a while back, I got into complex Minecraft mechanics, reading through dozens of wiki pages about mechanics I'd probably never use. But right now, one stood out to me. Local difficulty. You might know this as practically a second difficulty value that gets higher as the game progresses and allows harder and harder mobs to spawn. But what you probably didn't know are the 4 factors it's made up of. The difficulty setting, the moon phase, the total day count, and most importantly, the inhabited time of a chunk. Now, you might be thinking, how in the world are you gonna use that to find bases? Well, the 4th factor, the inhabited time of a chunk, tells me exactly how long specific chunks have been loaded for. Since bases have players loading the chunks all the time, this statistic would be high even nearby, and by reversing the math I could get the exact value. This was huge for me, but you know what would be even more huge? You subscribe! Okay, that was really bad. Now armed with a new method powerful enough to end servers, along with the pie chart, I was ready to finish what I had started weeks ago. Haven't found any bases in a while. One more base and I'd be done, but it could be anywhere. I still have like a lot of blocks to walk through, like probably over 100k. Now, don't get me wrong, this was still taking hours upon hours, but this new strategy sped up everything significantly. After going through nearly the entire world in the same square pattern as I did in the nether, and finding everything from farms, to traps, to bases, I was done. Well, other than for one base, the server owner's base. This would be crucial, as he was the one I wanted to get revenge on in the first place. I started to wonder, had I missed the base? Had he somehow hit it so well I couldn't find it regardless of all my efforts? I was starting to lose confidence, but I decided to keep going, and after nearly 3.5 hours of searching, my local difficulty peaked, meaning there was something nearby. And so, I investigated the area. That's all. Oh my god. Are these auto potion brewers? No way, bro. This place is stacked. I couldn't believe it. I had finally found what I'd started looking for over a week ago. The tens of sleepless hours, they were all for this. And now, the last thing to do was to host the actual event. First though, I needed some preparations. We were gonna need a lot of wither skeleton skulls, but with the farm I found earlier, that shouldn't be a problem. And after a couple hours of AFKing, all that was left was to announce the event. It was finally time to go through with my plan. For a moment, I hesitated. Was I really gonna do this just for petty revenge? Was I really that selfish? There was no going back anymore. The end had begun. I immediately used the warp command to get to one of the biggest bases.
Dude! Oh, there's more! How many of these things do they need?
Oh, when I heard this, I recognized the base they were describing, and used the same command to go there.
Togez is at base! Togez is at base! Togez is at base! Come base!
What's there?
Come base! Togez is at base!
There was nowhere to run. They could try to hide, but they had nowhere to go.
I know Togez's frames are literally dying right now.
How we go to that place? That place.
I have a soda. That's where I heard that.
Even though nobody died, every single base on the server was now compromised. It was all gone, and I had ultimately succeeded, but there was one last thing to do. My final act on the server. Who wants to come to my execution?
Me! I'm your executor.
It's been a long time coming.
I guess it won't.
I'm taking that armor.
But if I just kill Togez and ruin the moment.
Goodbye.
Yeah, whoa!